Hi there. Hello. Welcome to the audience that has joined us for the AMA on behalf of the ASU and GSV teams. Welcome. We are officially 5 days out from what will be the largest and most diverse summit ever. I'm Michael Cohn, one of the co-founders and partners here at GSV on behalf of the team. We're incredibly looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you for joining. We're going to let some folks continue to come in now. I see we're over 100. We're making our way towards 200, which is wonderful. And lots of exciting stuff going on. I think that that's really a reason for having this conversation and why so many of you have chosen to spend your afternoon with us and take a little time out of your day to prepare for ASU GSV. It's going to be the biggest and best one yet. We're at 7,100 live registrants. We are sold out. We are diverse. We've got 71 countries represented. We've got 800 startups, 600 investors. We're going to have about 10,000 folks viewing virtually as well from around the world. So everyone's voices will be heard. We've got 1,000 K-12 leaders representing over 47 states, including 350 superintendents. We've got 850 higher ed leaders representing over 350 colleges and universities. And that group includes a record 100 presidents, chancellors, and provosts. Tiffany Taylor, who you will hear from in a second, has done an incredible job with the team building out an audience and a community of over 1,100 K-12 system leaders, including 700 superintendents, which is wonderful. We've got a diverse mix of panels and workshops, 170 across our 13 stages. We have 33 Stage X sessions, including conversations with Bill Gates and Sheryl Sandberg, the incredible journalist Barry Weiss, Sam Altman, who's the founder of OpenAI, the most important name in AI today. You'll hear about a little bit later from Claire Zhao. The legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Undersecretary of Education, James Cavall. Lots going on in higher education today as well. And then we're also going to have a lot of fun. An email just went out. We've got the world's #1 voice coach, Roger Love, kicking us off on Monday and headlining karaoke Monday night. We've got the world's #1 illusionist, Drummond Money Coates, who will be there as well on all 3 days. So lots going on. So just given the sheer size and complexity and kind of the multiple rings at this circus, the team and I thought it would be a great idea to jump on the phone, jump on the Zoom, kind of have a conversation, lay out some questions that we have internally around best steps, best practices around how to navigate the events, and then open it up to you all. I see some folks already communicating in the chat. We've got a Q&A form as well for submitting questions. So we're going to spend the next several minutes, maybe up to 45 or so, just AMA, ask us anything. We're here to help you really navigate what is going to be an incredible 4 days beginning on Sunday. So with that, I'm going to just introduce the fellow panelists, my peers, my friends, Tiffany Taylor, Claire Zhao, Fran Rosenberg, who are here today to help answer some of your questions. So why don't we start with you, Tiffany? Why don't you just walk us through the community that you've been building for the past couple of months and who's coming, why they're coming, what are you excited about, highlight some of the names involved, and kind of let folks that are on the chat today have a sense of what's happening in your universe.
Absolutely. So we have spent the last nearly 2 years connecting with leaders in the K-12 educator community to truly understand why they come to the summit and what their priorities are as they think about the innovation and the intersection of technology and accelerated learning for students. And all of that has helped guide us as we cultivate the experience for K-12 leaders at the summit and beyond. So as you shared, we'll have over 1,000 K-12 leaders with us next week, representing 47 states, 8 out of the 10 largest districts in the United States and several countries from around the world. In our conversations with ed leaders, they've shared that they wanted meaningful opportunities to see innovation in action, to network, and to learn alongside their peers and entrepreneurs. So this year, we've done a couple of things. First, we've expanded our innovative school tours to add new locations for education leaders and entrepreneurs to connect and to learn alongside one another. We've worked a great deal with our partners at Class N and our partner, Daryl DMC McDaniels, to host the Education Innovation Showcase, which is modeled after the GSV Cup. And this is going to be truly a great opportunity for district and network leaders to showcase systems level innovation and for the chance for them to win cash and prizes and to share best practices with the broader ASU GSV educator community. We've also launched the Educator Entrepreneur Exchange, where K-12 founders We'll have the opportunity to receive feedback, insights, and coaching from superintendents and chief technology officers. And we've also created an opportunity for our K-12 founders and ed leaders to participate in design labs so that they can work in partnership to generate solutions to some of the most pressing problems and greatest opportunities facing us today. And so we'll have a lot of great sessions, everything from coming together in the name of well-being, solving the math equation and how to solve the nation's reading emergency, those education and entrepreneur exchange sessions, and a lot of experiences. And as you mentioned, time to have fun with our reception. So we're really looking forward to welcoming our K-12 educator community to GSV.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiffany. We'll come back to you in a little bit. And just for those of you that are asking questions, we're going to cover everything today. We'll talk a little bit about program. We'll obviously talk a lot about interactions, how to interact, where to interact, what times to interact, and then just some logistical questions as well. So we'll kind of bounce around. So with that, and we'll come back down to K-12 in a few minutes. But with that, I'm going to hand it over to Claire Zhao. So Claire, you've kind of been the architect du jour on so much of ASU GSV, and thank you for all your time and effort trying to pull this together. Why don't you fill everyone in on kind of what you've been working on and what you're most excited about?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm sure many of you tuning in today are thinking deeply about how AI will completely transform the education industry. Very hot topics right now. And we expect actually every session at ASU GSV to touch on the topic of AI, whether it's wrestling with questions around, will AI take my job? How can I use AI personally in my workflow? Whether AI is considered cheating. So we have a jam-packed program. As I mentioned, pretty much every session across K-12, higher ed, workforce, consumer learning will touch on AI, but we do have an AI specific channel, and I'm happy to dive deeper into specific sessions, but just a couple of names to call out. We'll have everyone from Bill Gates, who recently wrote a piece on the age of AI beginning, Sam Altman dialing in himself alongside Chegg CEO Dan Rosenzweig, and Sal Cohn, early partner of OpenAI, to launch GPT-4 on Khan Academy. So really the pioneers leading the charge on AI and education in our program. In addition to that, and the very prolific program is we'll have a ton of interactive ways to build on AI yourself and experiment with the technology. We're putting together a hackathon where you yourself can develop your own AI learning tool. There'll be a ton of demos to see live what entrepreneurs and leading startups in the space are doing. So stay tuned, and we're excited to have you all learn more and take a ton of takeaways around AI from the event. A really important thing to note is also the STARS track, where we'll be gathering 30 plus of the top CEOs in both top public and private companies in the education space. It's our first event that we're hosting alongside William and Blair, and all of these companies will be speaking on how they're thinking about AI, how they're thinking about their strategies, embedding AI into their products. This will happen on Tuesday and Wednesday on the third floor, and there will be limited seating. And so very intimate sessions, would highly recommend getting there early and hearing from these top CEOs.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. And I believe we have a mailer or PDF going out at some point here the next day or two. We're in San Diego. The summit is obviously flooded with AI content, which is awesome. We're going to lay that out, make it really easy to follow in terms of what conversations are kind of bespoke around AI. And for those that want to spend time in AI, where they can be kind of mapping their agenda, correct?
Got it.
Perfect. Awesome. And again, for those of you that are watching, thank you so much. I'm looking at the questions. We'll get to them in probably a minute or two. One question that's being asked, and it kind of leads me, Fran, to you, is just talk about what's going on. I see that there's so much about the GSV Cup and the Elite 200 and the Expo. That obviously is a real focus on all the amazing early stage education and workforce technology startups that will be there. Why don't you talk a little bit about the Cup, the companies? If I'm an entrepreneur, how do I identify investors I want to meet with? If I'm an investor, is there a synopsis of all the companies that are in attendance?
Yeah, thanks, Michael, and thanks everyone for being here. GSV Cup, it's the biggest and best one yet, most competitive. Last September, we had over 900 companies apply. We had over 200 judges from all around the world, from VC firms and strategic investment funds, help us judge those 900 companies across GSV's 5 Ps investment framework to narrow down to a list of what we call our Elite 200 semifinalists, who've all been provided, complimentary tickets to join us at ASU GSV. And you can interact with them as an investor at our investor happy hour with the Elite 200 on Monday. We have a expo where those startups have an opportunity to demo their products and solutions, by category. So K-12 at the same time, higher ed and workforce at the same time. That is sponsored by Google. That is also open to you. The GSV Cup in general, is sponsored with Google Cloud and Whole and IQ, RealmSpark, ASU RealmSpark, and HubSpot. So those sponsors are definitely huge partners of ours there, and big thanks to them. And then, of course, watching the GSV Cup finals on Tuesday night and Wednesday night on Stage X and at the Rady Shell, respectively. And we're incredibly excited about this year's cohort. 50% of the teams have founders of color, 50% of the teams have females on their founding team. 40% of the teams are located outside the United States. So incredible diversity, incredible ideas, lots of focus on AI, and really pumped for you all to get to interact with them at Summit.
Yeah, and Fran, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe for the first time ever, we actually have kind of a digital booklet that will be available that the companies themselves have actually helped us create, that identifies across our kind of 5 piece framework who they are, where they are, what they're doing, what they're interested in, what they're focused on, and the types of conversations they want to be having, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And that'll be on our website either today or tomorrow. And I have sent that around to all the investors who registered themselves as investors at Summit already. And I believe it's even already on the K-12 landing page.
Perfect. Wonderful. So with that, and we'll just continue to bang through a lot of questions, which is awesome. Please keep them coming. A couple of them. Number one, are all questions taking place in the same hotel? Yes, everything's at the Manchester Grand Hyatt. We have the entire place out. You can't miss it, which is wonderful. It sounds like there's obviously going to be a number of kind of satellite events offsite, but as far as the actual program goes, all sessions are taking place in the same hotel. There's a question around, are shuttle buses available? The beauty of San Diego is they're really not necessary. Everything's within walking distance, so you should be good there as well. Here's a good one. First timer, super excited for next week. I was hoping to ask, will we get a program list with the different speakers and rooms for the live guest? And I'll combine that with another question. Is it possible to get a full list of companies attending the conference? So a couple answers there. Number one, everything is available in the Summit app. If you haven't already had a chance to download that, please do. That's where everything is. That's where the attendee list is. That's where the agenda is. That's where all the individual participants is. We also have real-time communication. So a lot of folks kind of use that as their digital hub for the 4 days that they're in San Diego. That all said, the agenda is online as far as the detail. And then as Claire alluded to earlier, we actually kind of have a compilation of the agenda now that will be print ready, that at least kind of lays out the topics, the themes, what's happening in every room by day. So that should be available here shortly. Do we need to sign up for any sessions, or are they drop in? I think the answer is it depends, right? Tiffany, Claire, you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah. So for the majority of the sessions, you do not need to RSVP or sign up. You just attend. It's first seating is first come, first serve. But there are some sessions that are hosted by GSV, some of our coaching sessions and some of our sponsor sessions that require RSVP. And so for those particular sessions, you will receive a separate email or invite for those. But for the vast majority, I would say 95% of program, just show up ready to learn and ready to engage.
Yeah, and I would just add, it's a similar model for Stage X as well, but we just recommend that you get there early, seats get taken up quickly, and there are some cases where sessions are standing room only. And there will be a couple demos as well where there might be, or hackathons as well, where there might be RSVP lists as well.
Awesome. Here's a question from someone, first timer. Is it generally safe to walk around the area? Absolutely. GSV has taken over the hotel. So in addition to everyone in attendance being part of the event, and we're going to be very mindful of checking for badges. So please make sure to to wear your badge. We are not allowing walk-ins. We are sold out. So everyone that will be at the event is part of our group. We also have a significant presence as far as security as well, both uniformed and non-uniformed. So should be a very safe environment. What else do we have here? Oh, here's a good one. We'd love to know what you recommend in terms of good places to meet. First timer, haven't been. I keep on hearing about Town Square. Are there any new spaces for meetings as well? Claire, Fran, Tiffany, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I could go ahead and start. I mean, I personally love to take my meetings outside in sunny San Diego. There's a courtyard behind the hotel that walks around San Diego's marina. That's just absolutely gorgeous. So maybe if it's a catch up or a coffee meeting, that's a great place to take it. If it's maybe a little more serious and you need to sit down, have the computers out, great places are the 3rd floor and 4th floor hallways. And then as the question sort of noted, that Town Square as well has some additional seating. But I do find a lot of people taking meetings on the 3rd floor and in the 4th floor, like in the hallways, there's some auxiliary seating and stuff like that. And we have a coffee shop this year, so that could be a great place to take a couple meetings.
Yep. I just got a quick voiceover for Town Square. So Town Square on the 1st floor, right behind the reg desk. That's going to really be open beginning at 8 a.m. It will be open all day, every day. And lots going on there, lots of seating. Lunch will be served there. There will be video screens. So if you want to continue to have meetings while the conversations are taking place in Stage X, totally okay. We love that. There's a barista. There's going to be a pub there as we transition from day to night, and folks look to have a little bit of fun. We've got the new outdoor campus, which is outdoors. Deborah, I said that before you texted me. So again, point here. We've got the outdoor campus, which is great. It's gonna be right in the marina courtyard. Lots going on there, so that'll be great. And as Fran said, I mean, it's so much about the event is you bump into people in line for coffee, waiting for a session. It's all about that kind of those ad hoc conversations as well. So we definitely want folks to have a lot of meetings. We know folks are already showing up with full dance cards. Leave some time for for the ad hoc conversations. That's a lot of fun too. Yeah, what else? We talked about that. Oh, Fran, here's a question for you from a startup. Hey guys, first time attending ASU+GSV. Super excited. I'm an ed tech founder and a CEO. Are there other opportunities for me to meet other ed tech CEOs of seed and Series A companies? You want to talk a little bit about the SARP Academy and kind of you mentioned the expo, but happy hours and whatnot for companies?
Yeah, exactly. I think the Startup Academy happy hour is a fantastic place to do that. Another great place is that GSV Cup Expo, which is from 3:30 to 5 on Tuesday, right outside the town square. That's going to be an excellent place to meet other startups. We also have several coaching sessions, which is a great place to sort of interact with potential mentors and other startups that are all in the agenda. You could easily search by just searching the word coaching. And then I think just a great place that'll be fun to interact with folks is just participating in the voting for the Cup final Tuesday and Wednesday night. It is an audience live voting sort of thing with a lot of energy and fun. People at the tables sort of reflecting on pitches. So those would be my number one recommendations outside of course, just setting up meetings. And then lastly, we have a building and investing channel where you can interact with, leading ed tech CEOs, leading investors as they sort of expound on what's top of mind for them across some key issues.
Cool, thank you. I'm gonna kind of combine two questions that really talk about the bookends of the event. Here's a question: where do we get our badges from? Should we receive those prior to arriving, or are those available to check in via check-in station at the event? So everyone checks in at the events. We've got a kind of digital registration, which is wonderful. Stephanie Martin has done an amazing job making that much more efficient. So registration will be available beginning Sunday, right before the opening reception Sunday night, and folks can continue to kind of check in on Monday and Tuesday. So that's the start. As far as the end goes, so there's a question here. based on past conferences, do things down quickly? Do things wind down on Wednesday, or do folks stay and celebrate? Absolutely, do folks stay and celebrate. We have an incredible both program and venue for Wednesday night at the Rady Shell, which is that beautiful picture you see kind of, outside on the bay, overlooking the property. That's always a lot of fun. And just, anecdotally, we actually have as many people at that closing event as we do any of the keynote sessions. So folks definitely stay, which is wonderful. So Wednesday night this year at the Rady Shell, we've got a quick celebration for Wendy Kopp, the leader of Teach for America. We have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's conversation, which will be fantastic, with Arnie Duncan. We have, as Fran said, the finals for the cup, for the $1 million of cash and prizes, and then an absolutely kind of blowout celebration with an incredible band as well. So absolutely, if you're planning on staying for Wednesday, you will be in good company. It is going to be standing room only as well. Here's a question, Claire. What is included in our registration, and what do we need to do to register for separately? Lots of emails coming in about, do I have to pay separately for meals? Do I have to register for talks? Just talk a little bit about, what the registration includes.
Yeah, so your registration covers everything that's happening across that very comprehensive program across all 3 days. Everything listed on the agenda is available to you. Unless, as Tiffany had mentioned, there is an explicit RSVP or invitation only link that is open and available to you. We just ask that you follow instructions and get there early. In terms of meals, those are available all 3 days. It really depends on where you will be taking those meals. So in the case that you're attending a Stage X session, those might happen dine in on those tables in the Stage X room for the keynotes. But if you're walking around taking meetings, or maybe even listening in one of the overflow rooms or overflow seats, you can take kind of a to-go box. So meals will be provided all 3 days. Would highly recommend our special Alice Waters curated menu on one of those days. That's exclusive to our event. And so you'll be able to experience that for the first time and only time. And Wednesday evening is another wonderful meal, as Michael mentioned, by the water at the Rady Shell.
Yep. Yeah, more and more. Everyone likes to eat. Should we expect meals and snacks? Will there be coffee and tea available? What should we bring our own? Yes, we have. As someone who looks at the budget, we have quite a hefty amount of coverage for F&B, so everyone should come. We will make sure that you are fueled for all these meetings. Speaking of fuel, what's the recommended dress code? Tiffany, Claire, you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, I can start there. Business casual, but be comfortable. Make sure your shoes are sensible. Fran talked about all of the meeting places that we have for entrepreneurs and leaders who are joining us. But a lot of the meetings can also be walking meetings, connecting with new friends and old friends. So comfortable shoes, comfortable clothing, and just show up as yourself.
A lot of walking. You're gonna
a lot of walking. We've never done it, but we should probably either sync everyone's Apple Watches or Whoops or Auras or whatever your digital fitness app is, and we should actually have a walking competition. I know our own Kevin Zhang was like 40,000 steps last year.
Yeah.
Which is great. What else do we have here? More and more questions around venues and meetings. So I think we're good there. So here's a question. Where's the I'm getting tons of contacts from folks wanting to spend time with me. That's great. Yes, it is. The problem is they usually want to meet while multiple sessions are going on. So I think there's obviously a great question. And with everything, it is, how do I, A, secure meetings, B, where should I meet, C, how do I prioritize, time of and quality of meetings with everything else going on? So if you're a first timer, Claire or Tiffany, and you were looking to kind of fill your day with meetings versus sessions, talk to the folks that are asking these questions around how to kind of best prioritize their day.
Yeah, I think obviously there is so much happening, and that's the beauty of it. I think as a first timer with kind of a blank slate, you're up for meeting anyone. The program guide is actually a very helpful way for understanding how we structure and how to think about the very expansive ed tech landscape. So I think what I would do is, you can look at every channel and see who the speakers are in different sessions, and that might be a really good starting point for understanding which CEOs are leading different areas of the space. So for example, if I'm looking to better understand the K-12 maps landscape, I would go to the agenda or the app, look at a couple sessions there, and that's a really great starting point. In terms of setting meetings, really, as Michael mentioned, the app is the best way to do that. You'll have a full attendee list there. If some people don't respond, it's also a good idea to ping them on LinkedIn. It's never too, I see a question around whether it's too late to set meetings. It's never too late to set meetings. Some of them get set ad hoc or 5 minutes before when you see people passing by. And really, just to reiterate what Michael mentioned, it is important to leave room for you to just enjoy and have spontaneous meetings and meet friends, as much as productive meetings are good too.
Yeah. And just for everyone's knowledge, all the panels are being recorded. They will all live on in perpetuity on our YouTube channel, on our digital library. So don't feel like if you can't be in a session that you're going to miss the opportunity to kind of glean some of those insights. So we obviously appreciate that there's always going to be that tension between having so many folks on site wanting to have meetings, stacking their day, but also 170 different panels and workshops. So we think that's the best of both worlds. Tiffany, some questions for you about the school tours. How do folks get on that list? What are they?
Yeah, so unfortunately, or I would say fortunately, we actually expanded our school tour sites this year. So we have 8 different sites with partners at E3 Civic, Cohn Valley, Big Picture Learning, San Diego Met. But the school tours sold out in 36 hours. And so if you would like more information or you'd like to get on the wait list, we can direct you to the website, click on school tours, sign up for the wait list. And if a spot opens up, you'll be added to that immediately. And Abby Pryor on our team will get you those details.
Cool. Other questions coming in, live time, rapid fire. Can attendees invite external guests for any specific meetings? Unfortunately not. We're sold out. We got a ton of security. We got a couple hundred folks on the wait list. So unfortunately, we're going to have to say no to that. And folks have been guided or instructed to be very mindful of checking badges. What else do we have going on here? Who should we connect with if we have a press announcement we'd like to release at the summit? You can send that to the team. I think it's info@GSV Summit, and we'll kind of direct that to our media team or our marketing team and hand that over to the media that is in attendance. So other questions that are coming in here, just common themes. Here's a great one, Fran. How do I engage with the GSV team at the summit?
Yeah, I mean, number one, I would say just reach out to us. LinkedIn is a great way to find us. Number two, Alex and I will be at that Startup Happy Hour and Expo. Kevin and Claire likely will be at the AAPI event. Kevin and I will be at the LATAM event. Tiffany will be at the SUPS event. So a lot of us will be at those events, related to our sector coverage. That's a great place to find us in the halls and stop us in case, an ad hoc meeting is appropriate. But really, I would say the best way is to just reach out. We're all incredibly responsive and looking forward to seeing you all in San Diego. So that would be my best advice. And if you don't have our emails, LinkedIn is always great too.
Yeah, and Fran, you kind of bring up a critical point, and we may have kind of glanced over it just because there's so many questions coming in around program and logistics and interactions. But you kind of hit on a key point, which is community and impact and mission. And I would be remiss if we didn't have a chance with this audience to talk about that. So Tiffany, your GSV's head of people and impact. Do you want to just give a quick voiceover on kind of how we think about that?
Absolutely. So I often tell people when I think about who we are at GSV, we are investors, we are connectors, we are conveners. And so we are always working to make sure that we are making good on our commitment to ensure that we're not simply, leveraging the resources that we have to deploy as investors to have a strong ROI, but we're really thinking about our return on education. So thinking about every opportunity to consider what it means to improve outcomes, to bring leverage to learning leaders, and to make sure that we're increasing access and lowering costs. And so if you're interested in connecting with any of our investors in the GSV team to learn more about the impact and our portfolio companies that are all around the world, this will be a really great time to do that.
Yep, perfect. Again, right? You're talking about mission, talking about the diversity of the audience. Here's a question: if I come from one community, does that mean that I can only attend sessions for my community? I mean,
Absolutely
absolutely not, right? I mean, the beauty of the summit is
Yeah.
that cross-pollination, that
Yeah.
you could have the chief learning officer of Walmart sitting next to the president of a small community college, next to a kind of K-12 superintendent. We love that. I mean, so both, we have developed a ton of content that is vertical. We have developed a ton of content that is horizontal. And please, please, please make sure to expand your mindset, expand your worldview, and engage with those folks that are from different audiences, because that's really where the most learning takes place.
Yeah, you often hear us say the magic is in the mix, and that is exactly what Michael is speaking to. And it's not just the sessions. We have, our innovators of color reception. We have our LGBTQ plus reception. Our communities extend beyond those verticals, so make sure you explore them all.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. A few other questions, and then they're still coming in. Here's a great question. Fran, I'll kind of kick it to you. I'm someone looking to transition into ed tech. Networking is relatively new. In regards to meeting and connecting with new people, what do you think is the best way to share information with folks?
I would say Tiffany sort of hit it on it in the beginning. It's really to bring your whole self to the event, highlight, what it is why you're interested in making that transition, and why it speaks to you, and the impact, you're hoping to create, through technology, through a process optimization, through a system change, through writing policy, and then sort of do a little diligence and footwork. Who are the people that I see who are at the summit, who are sort of where I might want to be, and then ask them if they'd be willing to chat with you and give you a little bit of advice. I mean, in my experience, the community is very willing to help out others who are, impact driven, but also, approaching them in a thoughtful way. So I think that would be my number one advice, Michael, is just to be yourself, but do a little legwork up front, and people love giving other people advice. So
yeah. Yeah, I would just add to that, just have a curious posture, right? Make sure that you're asking questions, not simply to advance yourself, but to learn about what's happening in the broader education ecosystem. That's where that learning and those connections and those natural relationships are built when you come and have that posture of curiosity.
Yeah, and I might add, like, if you're thinking about becoming an ed tech entrepreneur, definitely reach out to us. That's what we do. We're really excited to sort of meet the future leaders of our industry at Summit this year, and just send us an email, and we'll really look forward to connecting with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I cannot stress that enough. As thrilled as we are, and as much as we love pulling together the summit, at the end of the day, and I think critical to the mission of GSV, which is ensuring that all people have equal access to the future. Certainly, we do that as far as building community, but we also do that for investment, and we're actively investing. So, if you're a founder looking for funding, please reach out. I'm Michael at GSV, Claire at GSV, Francis at GSV, Deborah is D. Causa at GSV. We've got Kevin at GSV, Musha at GSV. Please make sure to reach out and find us. We will be out in full force, and we want to spend time with you as well.
And I think all of our emails are available on our website, so easily trackable there. And even if you're just thinking and exploring ideas, we'd love to riff on them with you. That's, that gives us a lot of inspiration on how to think of the space, and your ideas and thoughts are so important to how we think about the Summit program as well.
Yep. Well, I think we're starting to push up against time, so I'll just do a quick call out for folks. If you have any other questions, please submit them in the next minute or two. I'm just going through the list here. Logistics question: will there be luggage storage at the hotel for people arriving Monday and checking out Wednesday? Yes. Can you comment on the activity on nonprofits at the summit? There are a ton of nonprofits at the event. As we kind of know, nonprofits can be both philanthropic but also commercial. A number of those will be out in full force, many of them across K-12 higher ed and workforce innovation. Does the app plug into the iPhone calendar? I don't know. It's a great question. If not, it should absolutely be on the CVent roadmap. I know last year it did not. It was on the roadmap. I'm not sure if it does yet. All right, a few more questions. What is the best way to identify and connect with companies that are recruiting? I think companies are always recruiting, even companies that they, if they say they aren't. If you've got, a passion for a company or a product or a mission, send that founder an email. Speak to kind of why you think that they'd add value. Here's critically important question. Do we need to sign up for karaoke? No. You may need to reserve your spot in line early for your song choice. That tends to sell out, as does the summit. But no, that's a ton of fun. So just show up every night in Brew 30, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, or just Monday and Tuesday. But lots going on in karaoke. I mean, clearly it's a huge draw. One or two more questions coming in, and as those kind of come in, Tiffany, Claire, Fran, parting thoughts. What if you were attending for the first time, what are sessions that you're most excited about? What do you want to highlight or kind of can't miss in your view? Claire, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Yeah, here, lightning round. Everyone's top 5 sessions.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I think there's so much program, but my personal ones are definitely, I think, the AI oriented ones. StageX on Tuesday will showcase Bill Gates and Sheryl Sandberg and Bill Gates back to back. So you'll be sure to hear a lot about these tech giants on how they're thinking about the space. I think Wednesday afternoon is an amazing block. You've got a combination of both AI content with Cohn and Ethan Malik, who's a esteemed professor who's has amassed, I think, hundreds of thousands of followers on the topic of AI and education, as well as a panel showcasing our very own Tiffany and Cheryl Lee Ralph, and more leaders, as well as Run DMC himself. So that's Wednesday afternoon. Definitely stay for that. Monday morning, we will have a Skills-a-Palooza, which I think is really exciting. It's our kind of biggest gathering of workforce and L&D leaders yet. So that'll be really interesting for anyone, who plays into the workforce or hiring space. And then I think just, saving time to also just spontaneously hop into events. I think as the team mentioned here today, there's a lot of value in going to sessions that might not fit into what you think is traditionally your channel or your wheelhouse. And being able to meet people outside of your traditional community can add a lot of value. And that's almost where we see the most magical partnerships come out of. So, yeah.
Yeah, lightning round for me, I would say from the Equality and Access channel, I'm really excited about the conversation around how to leverage education as a tool to end generational poverty, and the session around empowering neurodiverse learners and workers. From the workforce community, I'm really excited about employers as the 4th pillar of education. So this evolving nature of internal mobility. And then from the K-12, I shared a few, but in terms of experiences, I would say the Education Innovation Showcase, the Student Innovator Showcase that is a partnership with Sure Start and MIT, and then the AI Supercharging Educators. It's a teacher tools showcase. So attendees will be able to see firsthand how I think it's 4 different AI companies are really harnessing the power of AI to deliver personalized learning for students around the world. So really excited about those sessions and experiences.
Yeah, lightning round for me, and I won't broken record and just say GSV Cup again. I've been spending a lot of time on higher ed, of course, on AI and stuff like that, but some hidden gems. There's a panel rethinking the Ivory Tower with Ted Mitchell and others that I just think are excellent. I think the STARS track program and hearing from all those, top CEOs on how AI is affecting their companies is just going to be blowout. There's a couple panels in the building channel that I think are just excellent, building products people are obsessed with. Some of the top, CPOs in our space, leading through complex times panel. It's a complex time, and those are really some killer CEOs that we could learn from. James Cavall on Tuesday to talk about DCL and TPS. Barry Weiss on Tuesday, I think, is going to be crazy. A hidden gem, I think the real-time panel with Morehouse is going to be awesome, featuring, innovative models to educate child actors. So there's just so many of those like little hidden gems, and I'm just really pumped for a great event.
Yep, awesome. With that, I think we're bumping up against time, which is great. looks like we've gotten through all the questions. So thank you for those of you that joined. Thank you for those of you that submitted Q&A, and I see that the chat continues to be lively. So on behalf of the entire team at GSV and our partners at ASU, as well as our other 120 or so kind of sponsor partners, and a special shout out to them. Without their support, this event would not be possible. So on behalf of everyone and the team that kind of pulls together ASU, GSV, and the summit as we kind of head into our 14th year, we're looking forward to have everyone attend. We're here to help. There's a lot going on. We're trying to kind of over-index on communications and on making this as manageable and navigable as possible, while also just allowing the magical moments to happen. So lots going on. We'll see you Sunday night. And with that, thank you so much.